Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of Arrhenius Against the Inevitable. In case you didn't know, we're playing the game called Arrhenius, which, conveniently enough, released today on itch and drive-thru-RPG. Congrats to Dungeon Teller, who's also in chat. Hey, Dungeon Teller, how's it going? Congrats for the publication today. I'm so excited to see it officially out. Gonna order myself a hardcover copy, and it won't be here before the end of this series, but I'll have to post pictures on the socials or something. I'm Jeremy. You can find me here on this channel and on the socials at WHPubs. And let's do a round of introductions before we jump into the game. Casper will hopefully be joining us momentarily, but let's move over to Ed. Ed, tell us who you are, who you're playing, and then popcorn it to who you would like to.
Hey, my name is Ed. I am a longtime tabletop RPG enthusiast. It's been really cool, exploring the Arrhenius setting and stories with these folks here at Wanderer's Haven, which is one of my very favorite places to play. So it's always a treat to be here. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where we go next. Let me kick it over to Kay.
Hello, thanks Ed. My name's Kay, or Caden Cosmos. I have a cat on my keyboard and stuff right now, so otherwise I'd be in chat typing, but until she moves, there's very limited stuff I can do.
Fair.
She is wide. I do have some games that I play online. I'm looking to get more into like local musical theater, that kind of jazz. But tonight I'm playing Shan, who is a muter. They're trying to be heroic after being just like a beefy bouncer back in their own dome. Trying to figure out how to fix the domes now. I'm excited to continue with Arrhenius. Congrats on the release, and I'm excited to jump in. I'm gonna toss it to Bluu.
Hello, I'm Bluu. My pronouns are they, them. You can find me in the internet streets as King V, and that's King with a Y. And I'm playing Aurora, this neuter cultural researcher who is just trying to find answers and make friends maybe along the way. Who knows? I am very into the like snow tundra sort of apocalyptic-esque like setting of Arrhenius. I was literally telling Jeremy before stream started, like, I want a hard copy in my library because of the pieces in the book. So congrats again.
Awesome.
Oh, right. And I will pop it to Miko.
Oh, hi there. Hi, everyone. I'm Miko, otherwise known as the OKSGM. You can use the links and stuff in chat if you're interested in stuff that I'm doing. I am playing the rather enigmatic exploratory scav bot Ozit named What this evening. Hoping that we don't get assaulted by flying creatures once again, because that was not a pleasant overall experience for What, but you know, everybody survived, so that was the good thing. Thank you so much for being here, and yeah, congratulations on the release of Arrhenius. Sounds like it's working out for you, and I'm happy to hear that. And last but not least in our hearts, Brie, tossing it to you.
Hello, it's me, Brie. Congratulations for the release. I'm Brie. You can find me at places in the links below, specifically my website, bizzy-brie.love, which I made, by the way. And I'm playing Winona. We both use she, they pronouns. Winona is an Ekavir wisdom warrior priestess. I keep adding stuff to the title because she doesn't know what she wants to do with her life. So I'm excited to see where that takes us and where we end up going.
I'm really glad I didn't live my life. Like, that's not how I live. Like, my name would just be so long.
Back to Jeremy.
Thanks. Again, hopefully Casper is able to join us here soon. We'll do a little bit of intro should they be able to do so. But real quick, we're playing Arrhenius. We're in the the far-flung future, 100,000 years from now, in the midst of another ice age, our descendants have adapted, evolved, left the planet, came back, dealt with aliens, found all sorts of cosmic things, and those who are currently here, the surviving members, are as diverse as they can get. There are technological beings called Ozits, such as What. There are muters who live in domes that are irradiated with the nuclear energy that keeps them warm, such as Shan and... who's the other muter? Sorry, Aurora. There are Echavirs, such as Bruno and Winona, who are the closest thing to a... If you were like, what's a human these days? The Echavir are the closest thing to human, but they're all humans. It's just how evolution treated them along the way, or choices in certain cases, such as the Ozits and Dorrem, who we don't have any Dorrem in the group, but hopefully your journey will lead you to meet some. So speaking of your journey, you were trying to figure out Dome Ogygia is where Aurora is from, as well as Bruno and Yellow Jacket, who will join us later. The dome is failing. The heat within is dispersing. The radiation is poisoning the water. The filtration systems are wearing down. And you are, the three of you, essentially left to try and find an answer to this. There have been other expeditions that have gone out, but it seems like you are the last ditch effort, as either expeditions have disappeared or those who have came back empty-handed. Shan, you are also from another dome. Dome... You're going to have to say it, because every time I try to say it, it comes out as Toxic Ass City.
It's basically that. Yeah, exactly. You're not far off. They just they named their city based off a worn off sign. So yeah, Toxast City.
Nice. And so your dome is also failing, and so you were traveling out to find an answer when and I don't think we've talked about what happened to you, but Winona saved you. This Echavir, I forgot your entire title there. Sorry, Winona.
Wisdom Warrior Priestess.
Wisdom Warrior Priestess. Thank you.
That's it. You're welcome.
Now, did you have the full title? Did you have the full title when you met Shan, or has this been built upon since then?
This has been built upon
as
time has gone on.
Fair. The two of you were out because Winona's trying to prove themselves to their own Echavir tribe, and you're just like researching. You're checking out these biologicals.
Spying.
And
I mean, what's doing what does?
I mean, it's the purest form of experimentation, of research, by not being involved in it, just observing it from afar. Unfortunately, as the groups began to get closer to one another, some winged creatures swooped down and attacked, kind of dragging everyone into a forced meetup. Once that had happened, you all went back to Winona's Echavir tribe, where they're currently... it's not really a village, but it's a traveling nomadic village, and it's currently set up. And there you discussed some things. There was the playing of some games that are rather chess-like, if I'm being honest. It's the evolution of chess called Stones, which might be a game we also have today. It sounds familiar. Anyway, and you were all just trying to figure out essentially what to do. How is it that you're going to save these domes, if it's possible at all? So with that in mind, I'm not calling you out. What is the group doing currently? What is your train of thought?
So Winona just did this science experiment. if anyone recalls, I took the what was it? The weird thing, and I put it on top of the meat, and then I cooked the meat to see if it was edible, but no one
Right.
would eat it.
Yeah.
Before I got frozen in time. So Winona doesn't want to eat this, but based on the texture of it and everything, can I see if this is like safe to eat? Like,
Yeah.
would somebody die or receive severe bodily harm if they put this in their mouth?
I feel
creature?
like there was a roll last time. I'm pretty sure that it was determined that you're not going to die if you eat it, but it is irradiated to a certain extent. One other point that I did leave out, there was a little vial that Aurora had of some goo that what had realized is some form of maybe sentient fungus. It's at least mobile. It is a mobile fungus.
Mm-hmm.
Is it still toxic after I put the fungus on it and then put it back in the vial? Like I put the fungus back in the vial?
It doesn't seem to have changed.
So it fed on some essence and then it looks a little weird now. Okay. And then it charred up. Okay, no, I remember. My brain is coming together. So I think when nobody is like, let's eat this, and it's like, Winona's like, okay, I'm gonna find somebody to eat this. But she's just gonna put it in her backpack and leave that for another time. In the meantime, I think she's gonna look around, and I think at this point everyone has come inside, and Aurora has kind of explained who everybody is, except for who is here. Because it seems like nobody knows who this Ozit is. So Winona looks at and is like,
there are also, it's worth pointing out, there are also people that don't realize that is an Ozit.
That's true.
True.
It has not been clarified yet.
I don't know
if is actually an Ozit.
Does Winona know? Like, would Aurora have told Winona?
Yeah. So, so actually, Winona and Shan have both seen Ozits before. Aurora, Aurora and Bruno had never seen Ozits before, and Yellow Jacket had seen parts of Ozits.
Yeah. Oh yes, no, I remember that now.
Aurora has only seen them via books.
And Ozits can be so widely different, just like mutors.
Vastly different. That it's like, are they like, you know what I mean? Okay, I got you. So Winona's gonna look at and be like, why are you here?
Oh. Why would I not be here?
Do you want to be here?
Oh, yes. I don't go places that I don't want to go.
Well, why do you want to be here?
At the moment, it seems imperative in trying to ensure timelines and safety for biological life in this region for me to be here.
Got it. So you plan on helping?
Have I not helped?
I don't know. I met you just now. Or earlier today.
Yes.
But,
was that not helpful?
It was, but do you plan on helping in this? And I whispered to Aurora, what do you need for the dome to make it stop dying or whatever?
I think there are questions as to what can be done in order to prevent the detrimental effects that are occurring inside of Ojigia. And to some extent, I feel I could be helpful in that regard. However, I cannot solve such problems so easily.
I mean, of course not. If you could, it would have been solved already. Since you want to help and you want to do this. And basically, Winona's like looking at you like, I don't want us to have any problems. Like, I want you to want to be here. Basically, Winona's like, are you just an observer? Like, or are you like actually here to help do things? Because like everybody seems really wanting to find something thing, whatever that is. So I think that's what Winona's kind of asking, if that makes sense.
Sure, and I think that it's fairly safe to say that any time spent contemplating the actions that what has taken, someone might be able to ascertain, or should be able to ascertain, that what is very reactionary. Ozits, in many ways, are a reactionary entity, and they respond to things in such ways that it's very difficult for them to process proactivity. Everything has to be done in a calculated and programmatical way in response to the events that occur as time goes on. So there would be no sense of understanding, or no sense of, unless it was misunderstanding, that what doesn't want to help or doesn't want to be an assist to the circumstance. It is more they're just waiting for questions that they can answer or actions that they might be able to take to benefit in some way. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. So I think in response to kind of like this like weird questioning / headspace thing going on, Winona would be like, okay, well, do you have any questions?
Oh, no.
All right. Fantastic. So Aurora. You said your dome is dying, exploding, suffering immense pain. What was it?
More accurately, our reactors are failing and the dome is going cold. I'm looking for a resolution to that, a source of power, a new home. Oh, is my audio choppy?
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah. Let me unplug real quick. Hold on.
I think I can jump in. Shan has had her brow has been completely furrowed. Their third arm is scratching as they have their two arms folded across. Ooh. And they'll be like, so there's a lot of problems. Unless we want to go steal someone else's power from their dome, the deep ones, they like the ones you see them sometimes in Toxass City. I don't know if you see them a lot here. They're like purple. They're not really good with the cold. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Real quick.
Okay.
Welcome, Casper.
Hi.
Glad you were able to join us. Why don't you do a quick introduction? Tell us who you are and who you're playing this evening.
Osea, I am Casper the MB Ghost. I haunt the internet on various channels. And I am playing Yellow Jacket, who owns everything yellow, whether you want to believe it or not.
Whether it's yours, it's Casper's. Perfect. All right, please continue.
So I think Winona would answer vaguely, but just to be clear, so we don't want to steal it from anyone? We don't want to steal
It'd
the
be
solution?
great to not.
Okay.
Also, am I still choppy? Am I okay?
No, you're good.
Nope, you sound better. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, I think Aurora's like, it'd be great to not steal that from another dome. No, that's not something I'd like to do.
Then I have no ideas.
Now, Dorrem, I know we were chatting about like some routes we could take here, And I don't remember who put forth the idea, but I did like the idea of like searching for the Dorrem treasure.
Yeah.
And maybe like catching a lead with that. Could I roll something
Sure.
to rack my brain?
So why don't you all do a recall roll? For this, it is going to be a hard penalty for everyone except for What and Aurora. So you can have -2 to your rolls. Aurora, you have the data pads that Dr. Penn gave you, and What, you are a data pad. So remember, you're aiming for a 20.
Oh, wait. I have inspiration from last game that I did not use.
Awesome, yes.
So I
So
would
that'll
like
get
to make
rid
it
of...
a regular roll.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. That'll get rid of that penalty. And remember, you're aiming for a 21 or higher. If you get a 21, that is a critical. It doesn't matter at this point because you won't get your points back, but...
And I'm sorry, Jeremy, can you please say again what the roll was?
Recall.
Recall. Excellent. I got a 26.
Perfect.
I also got a 26.
Perfect.
Hey.
I got a nat 20, so 32 total.
Nice.
Okay, so. Okay.
I got a 21
So-
on the dot, I think.
Nice. Yellow Jacket.
Casper, just to catch you up, we are sitting in Winona and Shan's room, and we're just discussing like Ogigia is having issues. How can we go about fixing that? And where do our like goals align pretty much? So we're just racking our brain for like solutions or threads that we can pull upon to lead us to that.
I like the idea of Yellow Jacket literally not paying attention and only just looking around the room for something yellow. So I'm completely oblivious of like, oh, I was like, oh yeah,
I'm here for
win.
that.
Okay. Recall. I got oh crap. 15, I got a 24, but you said there was a difficulty of what?
-2, so it's still 22.
22.
Nice.
I did it. Sorry, my recall is so bad. I was surprised I did it.
And Bruno, what did you get?
I got a 9.
So I think you're the only one that failed. Perfect.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I think there's some Dorrem that live underground, maybe.
You've
But I think that's probably as much as I know.
You've definitely heard tales of Dorrem that live underground.
So I think they're that way, folks.
Right. So all of you have heard of the Dorrem. They're a technologically advanced branch of humanity, but in a different way than the Ozits. They are still flesh and blood, mostly. They do some cybernetics and implants and alterations to their bodies. You know that there was once a Dorrem. The world was once essentially run by the Doric Empire. That fell, if I remember correctly, about 1,000 years ago. So those of you who got over the 21 would know that. Winona, with your amazing roll, you have heard of a place called Amia. Amia was like the seat of power for the Doric Empire, and it was a technological wonderland. Like, there are things that haven't been recreated since then. And it comes to your mind that if there is an answer, it might be there still, because it is so deep underground and so difficult to get to that, as far as you've heard, the tales that your people have told and the stories that they've picked up in their travels, for the most part, Amia has not been looted. But you've also heard, with your amazing roll, that it was retaken by the wild, essentially. The creatures and plants that lived there when the Dorrem ruled remain and have spread, and so it's from what you understand, it is a wildland underground full of plant life that has not been seen for thousands of years, if not longer, on the surface. Aurora and what? You have heard of a little more common knowledge is a place called Jacoa. Jacoa is essentially a gigantic database city where the Dorrem are chronicling humanity's history and events as they unfold currently. If there is an answer, at least in history, to how to fix the issue, it would be there.
Am I correct in interpreting that as being that this place is the closest thing that the world would have at the moment to like an institution of higher learning?
So from the way I understand it, it's less of a college. Like it's not necessarily like somewhere you go to learn, and it's more like a place they
library?
hoard. Yeah, it's like the Library of Alexandria.
Okay.
It's more a hoarding of knowledge for safeguarding as opposed to for sharing. Now,
Oh, a big ass archive?
right.
Sign me up.
Now, whether you can get into it and get the information, you're unsure. Shan.
Oh.
Shan and Yellow Jacket both, because you've wandered the outdoors, and Yellow Jacket, there's actually, you remember tunnels leading from the city you used to live in that led to a place called the Subcontinental Express. This is a series of trains, essentially, that go under the surface of the ice, through stone, through what water hasn't been frozen, and crisscrosses the world, and is the fastest way to get from one place to another. You know that there is an elevator a few days from here that goes down to like a hub. It's not like the central hub, but it is a hub from which you can travel to get to other areas. And maybe if there's a place you need to travel to, since you don't know these other places yet until the conversation happens, maybe this would be a good way to go there. Bruno, man, you know that it's been real hard hunting lately, and that beach was real pretty the other day, the one in the holodeck that you were on. Sorry. All right. Feel free to discuss what you all think up.
Wait, quick question, Jeremy.
Mhm.
So for Amia, is this like, does Winona vaguely know where it is? Because what I understand from what you said, because the Akavir are well traveled, a lot of them may like know where it is, but it's just too dangerous to go to, or it's like considered too dangerous to go to. Like no one's been like taking the risk.
Right. Yeah. So it is.
Okay.
You do have an idea of where it is. You're not really sure how you would get there, because you may have heard of this train system or other ways to get underground.
But
But
we don't use those.
right.
We walk.
Exactly.
We use our legs.
Ew.
And other limbs to travel. Okay, cool. I got you.
What Jeremy, one clarified question. Would I know of like a lost city in the tunnels, like from my people's like stories?
I'm going to go with yes, but you've heard of lots of lost cities and not necessarily like Amia specifically.
Cool.
And
Okay.
and you would have probably, with your role, you probably wouldn't have heard the name.
Oh no,
But
I was not thinking about the name.
it could be that your people have given it another name. much like you kind of dub things as you go. You might have actually heard about this, but once they start talking about it, maybe I'll have you do another roll to see. You're like, no, that's not what that's called.
Okay.
So I think Winona would speak up and be like, okay, so since stealing is off the table for everybody, except for Yellow Jacket, Yellow Jacket said, when did stealing become off the table? Since stealing is off the table, we do have a very decent bunch here. And Amiya might be a good way to go. I mean, it's been taken over by the wilds, the stories say, but it's essentially a technological wonderland. All of the good stuff is located in that place and has never been touched. It is dangerous, and I'm not quite sure how we would get there, because it is a several days walk from here. But if anybody had any ideas,
Why walk?
What's Amiya?
oh, Amiya, it's kind of like a dome that used to exist thousands of years ago. The stories say deep underground. It has a bunch of different technology. You would really like it there, Aurora. I'm assuming. I mean, before it was taken over by plants and critters.
Right.
But if there is technology that exists that can save your dome,
I think
it
you're
would be
right.
there.
I'm also thinking of a place called Jacoa. If Amiya doesn't turn up any answers, Jacoa could turn up some answers. Maybe not in tech, but it's like a massive archive in a way. But Yellow Jacket, you said why walk? What do you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a way to get somewhere?
Yeah, the Connex.
The what?
The who?
Big tunnel, goes fast. Connex.
You are saying made up things right now. I know you like your made up words, but this is not a thing. A tunnel?
If I could point out history, all language is made up.
Thank you, What? That is exactly what I wanted to hear right now. Appreciate it.
I'm gonna dig in my bag and wait, what was the thing actually called again?
Sorry, I just have to interject. Yeah, but what? That's irregardless of this point.
Express?
Subcontinental Express.
Yeah, the Subcontinental Express.
Sorry,
I'm gonna dig in my bag and find this ratty, disgusting part of like a poster that has a little bit of yellow on it in the corner. It's amazing it's survived this long, but it's made out of vinyl, not like paper.
Right.
So it's got it it says sub con and with a giant X on it. And all the other letters are faded or torn off.
Nice.
I love that.
Subcon
X.
Subcon X.
So seeing this, would this ring any bells for us?
I feel like what connects the dots really quick. There's definitely like a, oh yes, this is absolutely a thing. Aurora, go ahead and make a recall for me.
Can I help in that I'm digging around for another piece that has like it's supposed to be attached but it has fallen off and
Sure.
it's just like a picture
Yeah.
of it's a picture of a bullet train and I think they're connected because I saw them together, but like it's the same material.
They might have been connected like before you stuffed them in your pocket, but you're not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, it's like it they're the same material, so it's like
Yeah, so Aurora, I'll give you a plus Well, I'll give you +4 bonus on this one.
Okay, I got 28 total.
Nice.
Very
It takes you a
important.
moment, and again, it's
Survival.
not something that you've really even like talked about, but there has been some reading that you've done in your time spent as Dr. Penn's apprentice, and you think back, and there's some stuff that you read about vehicles that, like, you have some vehicles that get you through the city a little faster, although a lot of them aren't running any
Like
longer. They're
buggies sort of situations.
and apparently
Yeah.
these held like a lot of people and could go very, very fast through the world as opposed to on the surface. So yeah, it kind of connects.
Would Aurora will like snap their fingers and like, I have read about this. Okay, that it's the Subcontinental Express, but I actually like your name for it better. Having read about it, would they have read anything about like how to pay for it? You know what I mean? Like, what do people exchange to get on it?
Sure. You got a 28. You know that from the historical records that you had access to, you do know that it was built pre-Wara, so the money that you use now is came out after that. But whether or not, if it's still active, then maybe they've updated and take Wara, or I mean, maybe they exchange services or goods, bartering.
Kind of barter situation.
That feels like that's something that What would inherently know.
Okay.
Because What has probably either used that service themselves or knows other Ozits that have.
Sure.
Can
Just
I
do
pro-
go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to propose, instead of goods or services, because scabs basically live underground and in tunnels and stuff. I know we're not the only ones on here, but like scabs, I think, would have inherited this in some sort of way, or at least one of the stations.
Some scab culture or something.
Yes, I'm thinking scab culture, since it's very survival of the fittest, is like you have to fight your way on. At least at one of the stations is my proposal. Like, you got to fight your way on. Other places can be more civilized and exchange goods for services.
Love it.
But the stations I know are like, eh.
So, because you and Shan are the two that rolled for where the closest entrance is, or rather the closest one you know of, it just so happens that one is kind of, I don't want to say lorded over, but it is protected. It is protected by a group of scavs that have been known to be bought off before with things that you could bring them. However, for those who are just trying to get out of the cold and get into the train, often it does lead to some kind of fight to get on.
Okay.
Yeah, I know can tunnel the subcon X that way. Well, not that. That way.
Well, the point is, you can.
It's over there.
Aurora's gonna be like, the point is, you can get us there, and then Yellow Jacket said that way, and they're like, never mind. Okay.
I think I haven't been there. I think I know the way. It's that way, and I'm gonna flex in the direction. So
with your back arm,
I was
or
just gonna
I
say,
love
was that a 3-arm dab?
right?
yeah, 3-arm
Okay.
dab. Yes.
What? Go ahead and make a recall for me.
Oh no, me?
No, what?
Hold on.
Sorry.
Okay, good.
Me, my
Oh.
age? Sorry.
32.
Okay. So, you do know of systems. In fact, you did come through one that is actually a good deal further away than apparently this entrance that you haven't heard of before. So, however, that one does take Wara to get into.
I will proffer that up, that there it is an option that can be taken, and what would perfectly be able to guide the group to that entrance, although farther away means more danger, etc., etc.
Why you guys like walking so much?
Walking is a fascinating form of travel, is it not?
I am still not entirely convinced that this submissive con exists.
Oh,
Subcontinental Express.
So at this,
Whatever it's called.
yeah, when to convince Winona, what dumps out one of the pockets on their thing, it's just full of yellow rocks and beads, and he like
you mean Yellow Jacket dumps out?
Yeah, Yellow Jacket. My bad. Sorry, I took your name.
I did what now?
It was highlighted. I thought it was mine. So,
this you, okay? And now we,
there's also a yellow can, and Yellow Jacket's gonna dump them all in the can, shake the can up, and shoot it across the room.
Subconnex.
Winona's gonna put their hand on Yellow Jacket's shoulder and is gonna be like, if I say I believe you, will you stop doing strange things to try to prove that this is true?
Yes.
Okay, I believe you. Now go pick up your weird yellow things.
Yeah.
Don't litter in my room.
Yeah, they run. It's gonna run over, grab the can, and then shove everything back into the can that spilled out all the extra yellow things and stuff it back in its bag.
Do we have like a map of the area?
Oh,
Do I have a map of the? Do I have a map of the area?
Yes,
Did you find a yellow map of the area?
Right.
It could have been a faded map.
You do have some like kind of sketches that you did. Everything that you have essentially is from the retro metro that you lived in, following various tunnels that led you to Dome Gigia. There are other like tunnels that go off in other directions from the retro metro as well, and one of those does lead to essentially like a vent near the entrance to that.
Okay.
Just to clarify, Aurora said that, or asked that question out loud, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That was not Bluu asking the question?
Yeah, that was Aurora.
Okay. I think what would respond with, I have an internal mapping system. Unfortunately, that does not help very much in displaying such mapping information to you, not being able to interface with me directly.
Yellow Jacket is pulling out post-it notes of this makeshift map that they've done.
This is here, and this is mine, and this is yours, and this and goes in the middle, and this is vent, and that goes.
What
here.
is just processing all of this like in a complete fascination?
Winona's gonna pat Yellow Jacket on the head and be like, "You're doing amazing, sweetie. How about you set this up on the wall over there? I think that'll be extremely helpful." And then Winona turns to what and gets like a pen and paper and is like, "Can you draw?"
I could recreate things, but that isn't going to help tremendously in so much that I can also simply just travel and lead you to the place that I know the destination of.
I think this is probably the moment where like Bruno kind of like maybe turns to Winona or grabs her and just sort of asks, we're trying to pick what entrance to the Subcontinental Express that we want to take, right?
Yes. Winona does not know. Winona found out the Subcontinental Express exists right now.
I feel like hearing the unsure tone of Winona Aurora is like watching Yellow Jacket, but pipes up like, yes, I think that's a good thing to figure out.
We should pick the entrance that we don't have to kill men to pass through.
I concur.
That's a
No
great
killing,
point.
just fight.
I'd rather not fight either, honestly.
But it's close.
Let's figure out a route there from camp. And is it like late right now? Would this be like towards the evening time, Jeremy?
It's not super late. It's kind of it didn't take you that long to essentially for everything that's happened so far. The longest point has been you talking and kind of like getting settled in here. Let's say it's mid-afternoon.
Okay. I think Aurora's like, we could go look for the Subcontinental Express, but once we get there, we still need to figure out where to go next. Do we want to go to Amaya? How does everybody feel?
Amia, darling. Meanwhile, Winona doesn't know that that's actually how it's pronounced. Winona doesn't. Winona has no clue. Like, I just want to make
she
that
says
clear.
everything with so much confidence, but she don't know shit for real.
No, she knows nothing. She just walks in the winter.
That.
Like, and when Winona's like, I think that would be the best way for us to get everything that we want. What can observe humanity or whatever it is that it does. You guys can get your little dome thing, and I can get the thing, something amazing and wonderful that will just lead me to higher standing in my job. Everyone wins.
Can Yellow Jacket is gonna like lean over to Shan and be like,
Is Mia shiny?
What? Is what shiny?
She's shiny.
She.
The girl they're talking about.
Oh.
Uh,
No, I can't
no.
lose.
gonna go back to making my map.
Perfect. Like, okay, perfect.
That was great. I was like, who? And then the fucking name.
Oh, and I guess Yellow Jacket can find yellow things or whatever that is they do.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm
most likely.
I mean, there are several colors in the range of the color spectrum. There absolutely has to be at least one yellow thing in there.
What is it?
I don't know. You don't know what half the stuff is before you pick it up. Do you?
Yeah. Paper. Mine. My paper.
Yellow Jacket goes through his list.
The entire
And Aurora
inventory.
leans over.
Mine. Mine.
Just
Is
everything.
Amia- Is Amia? It's ancient. Are the dorms still there?
Oh, as far as I'm aware, there is no human or humanoid adjacent beings left alive down there. Unless they have become one with the animals, in which case, I mean, who am I to judge? I don't know. I haven't been there. But it has been taken over by plants and critters. So they could be down there. It is highly unlikely.
So we want to go where the smart people are. I would assume. I don't want to talk to the tardigrades or whatever.
But all of the smart people things are down there. Things that have never been seen before in history. We would be legends. Also, you would get whatever you needed for your stuff and dome and everything.
Jeremy, can I finish putting up my collection of Post-its and have a
Let's see
very
if this post
weird
is.
makeshift map of my journey underground? Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, there's a very big Post-it that is a terrible recreation of the logo for the subcontinental thing, and it's off in the corner. My own home kin thing has a giant skull on it and like red smears on because there's nobody there anymore. Yeah, like the dome I just left is got a tiny version, like a stick figure version of Bruno on there because he lives there. Yeah, this just where we've been at.
Nice.
I think
Ta-da!
I'll go over to Bruno. And it's like, have you heard of any of this? I mean, you and Yellow Jacket are way more well traveled than I am. Is any of this ringing a bell to you?
Bruno shakes his head. Says, "No. I've heard of Dorrem. Never traveled down there."
Do we have everything we need for even going underground?
Yes. Me.
Looks at everybody else but Yellow Jacket.
I think what would respond with, if we were to travel to places such as what we're discussing, I think it would be very beneficial for the biologicals amongst you, and looks at everyone, to ensure that you have enough proper supplies. At present, you may be a little lacking, but I have plenty for myself.
What saying that just like made Aurora remember that what said something about having an internal GPS? And so Aurora like tilts their head and they're like, "Oh, are you not in the category of biological?"
No.
Okay. And they just leave it at that. Takes a little sketch of what? Actually, that I'm thinking about it. Like, okay, that's actually
I don't know
cool.
why, but my brain thought of the caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland. That's like, who are you? That's what I was thinking.
What are
Are
you?
Yeah, that's it.
So, I have a question for you all. Would you mind if we did our break a little early? As my dog is like, I need attention right this moment.
That's fine.
Absolutely.
I have cats that are objecting to each other at the moment. That's why I've been going. So I wouldn't mind a quick little break,
Fair.
so I can,
Round them up.
Right?
Animal
Tell Bridget
roundup
that
break,
she's the
everybody.
best, but we still love her.
Right? All right, well, we're going to take a break a little early. We'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes, probably closer to 10, knowing Libby and her excursion into the yard. We will see you shortly. All right, welcome back, everyone. Thanks for letting us take our extended break there. We were waiting. Bluu has lost internet connection, and we were waiting for them to be able to rejoin us. Technology, right? It's not a live stream if somebody doesn't have a tech kerfuffle. Also,
I think it's Elon's fault.
Isn't everything?
Might as well be at this point.
So just so you know, this is fundraising month here on the channel. It is Mental Health Awareness Month. But I'm thinking next month I might do an ASPCA one so to raise awareness and money for pitties who cannot go out in the rain or else they'll melt. Poor little staffies who are allergic to the ability to get wet. Even though they really, really had to go to the bathroom, they don't want to now. So, let's jump back into the game.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so what are you all thinking?
So I think it's pretty safe to say that we are ruling out the option at this point of going to the location for the subterranean transportation service that requires us to fight things to gain access to it.
Okay.
We had enough, I believe, hard passes on such an endeavor, that the question we really need to be asking is, do we want to use that to reach what was the name of the not Aurora,
So there's
Amiya?
Amiya, yeah.
Mhm.
Is
Amiya.
Amiya our
Mario.
actual destination, or are we going to Jacoa? Because both are valid.
Wait, I'm sorry. Was this in character or out of character?
Out of character.
Okay, cool. I just
Both
want to make
taken.
sure.
I'm down for meeting Winona's girlfriend Amaya.
I think Bruno's also leaning towards Amiya. He has no illusions about sort of being able to learn how to fix anything, but maybe he can come home with a fantastic treasure tool that will fix what is broken.
Amiya sounds good. Maybe Shan can fight something. They've been like, every time the topic comes up of like trying to fix the domes, they're taking their one brain cell, folding it in half, and like trying to rub it against each other to make a fire. They don't even have two. So yeah, if maybe they'll get to fight a bird or something. I don't know.
Okay. So Amiya it is.
Okay.
What, and I do believe Aurora as well, had a serious inclination that fighting to get into the subterranean thing was not something they were willing to do.
Is there anyone who's voting to go to the scab controlled entrance? So there's 2. Oh, wait, there's 3, 4.
What?
Oh no,
Well,
those are all just Yellow Jacket raising hands,
LOL.
and Shan's extra hand popping up in the background. So we have a tie.
I
Currently.
will say Winona does not feel strongly either way.
Okay.
Winona is like, either we beat up. Actually, no. Winona would speak up and be like, first of all, I do not have a girlfriend named Amiya. It's not a person, it's a place. Second of all, the fighting thing, are we allowed to kill, or it's no killing? Killing is not allowed.
Stuff happens.
Okay, because I only know how to use a gun.
No. Fighting,
Ugh.
not shooting is different.
Can we use some other entrance? Because I'm not going to punch things with my hands. They're delicate. Her hands are calloused from worn and tear. Like,
How much Wara is it? It costs
That's a good
Wara?
question. I don't know how much Wara
That is,
costs.
you
Jeremy.
do know exactly how much,
No,
and you tell
Miko
them,
does not
right?
know
And you
what-
tell them how much it is.
Excellent.
it's only one Wara. Fantastic.
Right?
Everybody gets in on
Right?
one Wara. We did it.
I'll work and see if there's a specific number I can give you. But in the meantime, Bruno, do you have a preference?
I think Bruno would say someone's son or daughter is worth more than that much Wara.
No one dies.
So technically, if Winona hasn't voted yet. 3 for not taking the fighting entrance, and 2 for taking the fighting entrance. So I think I think what Winona would say is Winona would look at Yellow Jacket and be like, would I have to fight people, or would you do all the fighting so that I do not have to do the fighting?
Me.
Yes,
Say
you.
champion.
You
Champion
specifically.
win. We go.
Then I'm fine with the fighting. As long as I don't have to fight anything. How good are you at fighting?
I live.
not great. I don't know. We have survived a lot of weird encounters. Like, I don't know.
Maybe we
still-
shouldn't
yeah.
fight. I think maybe fighting is a bad idea for the other scabs. I think.
I mean, between Shan and Yellow Jacket, I think they have it covered. But if you and I look at what and Bruno, like if you're concerned about sons, daughters, children, husbands, wives, partners, do you have the money for this? Because we don't use money here. We barter. I mean, I can steal money.
I think Bruno thinks for a second and says, 7.
Jeremy, how much does this thing cost? How much does it cost for us to get in this train?
So
7 might be enough.
right. So what you're remembering that essentially it's gonna kind of depend, because you go to you take the elevator down, you go down a train that's in a station, right? And then you go to a hub. From that hub you go out to somewhere else. That costs you something else. If this is like 7 hubs away, it's just adding on cost. But that's going to be the case no matter what. Just entering into this is going to cost a little bit on the surface or a fight. But even if you win the fight and get in for free, later it's going to cost you to go from hub to hub. Now, we're going to call it 3. Cost 3 Wara to go from hub to hub.
3 Wara. Let's just go there.
3 Wara State. Sorry, that was Bree. That wasn't Winona. I'm so sorry. Winona's like, okay, we'll go, and if we don't have the money, then we're just gonna have to beat everybody up.
It sounds great to me.
I was under the impression that your people bartered.
Does what is this? The Continental Express?
Subcontinent.
Do they barter?
You clarified a moment ago. Combat.
Yes.
Listen, I know how to barter, but not every clan, tribe, and people barter. So, I mean, I definitely have some stuff around here that I could probably barter for. But my services, no. I have places to be, things to do. But things, absolutely.
I think it will work out to everyone's benefit in the end, without needing to resort to violence.
It's a farther walk.
Can I see if I have
Yes.
anything that would be interesting to anybody to barter in my hut? In like me and Shan's room? Because I imagine like whenever me and Shan find something, we take, or Winona takes things. So Winona is like completely fine with bartering, but Winona is also like, we are getting on this train one way or another. So if we have to fight, we will be fighting. I guess.
Do a creativity check.
Oh, creativity. Whew. Okay. That's rough. Oh, that's rough. Okay. 19.
19. You're looking around and you're like, well, there are certainly like, the things that you use every day, your pens, your parchments, some of your scientific equipment that you have, gathered. All of these things are worth something to somebody, but they're kind of worth a lot to you. So are you willing to part with these things in order to help these people with their dome problem?
I think Winona looks around and is like, okay, no, this is very valuable. No, this is too important. No, they wouldn't even know what to do with this. No, I don't see anything that would be of use here. Shan, what about you?
To barter with the scabs, or
With anyone who will let us on the train. With things.
I have Wara. I was given a little bit of Wara by the Archbishop CEOs of Talks Ass City. So I can pay for us to get on the train. We're good.
Shan, how much Wara do you have?
Right now 120, I believe.
Is it 3 per stop per person?
Yes.
While they're discussing Wara, and since we're not going to my tried and true little pit, can I go over to Bruno and just start tugging on his sleeve real quick? It's Bruno.
Hmm?
Can you carry me for this walk?
I think Bruno eyes Yellow Jacket up and down. Is this even within the realm of possibility?
What's your strength?
6.
I mean, for distances, yes.
I think that a little smile sort of crosses just the corner of Bruno's mouth. And he says, halfway and then we trade.
Yellow Jacket's gonna look Bruno up and down, and Bruno's a good twice the size of Yellow Jacket. And it's just
Deal.
Bruno laughs and takes Yellow Jacket's hand.
We can get to the train. We can, I'm sure Yellow Jacket can hitch a ride. I can hang on to the outside of the train for a little bit.
It's fast.
How fast? I'm sure. I'm tough.
Hang on.
and he goes to do the presentation again, and throws the can to the other side of the room.
Fast.
That fast? Okay. I think I underestimated how fast it was.
All right.
I'm grabbing my can, sticking it back in the bag.
All right. Long walk. Let's go.
We'll take the train. It's as long as it's less than 6 stops, we should all be covered. If Shan's paying. Is it a long walk to the train?
Yes. Now.
It's going to take a few days at least to get there, depending on the weather.
The train?
Yeah,
Mine was
to the elevator that will take you down to the hub.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mine was closer.
It took you just over a week to get about this far from the train, but there was some pretty bad weather that kind of messed with your timing, so you're estimating, depending, probably 4 to 6 days.
How close was mine? It's
about 3 days.
Cool. I'm gonna complain the entire time.
So a couple of logistical questions. One, there's an automated skiff that Bruno and Yellow Jacket and Aurora brought that have supplies on it. Do you plan on bringing that with you?
Yeah.
I think we need to.
I mean, to at least getting to the entrance, sure.
Okay. And is there anything else besides that device that's going to essentially bring these shelters, these collapsible shelters and such? Is there anything else that you wanted to bring? Essentially beyond what you're carrying on your person. So something that can go on the skiff that's within the realm of reason, that's here in Echevar
So
village.
I'm not sure. Like, so I got a tent. I've got a cooking pot. You mean that kind of stuff, or like a map of the area?
So
or
is that
something
like already
extra?
on your character sheet, like your tent
Some.
and
That's
okay,
what I've got already.
yeah. So is there anything that you think you would have access to in this Ekivar village that you want to try and bring on the skiff? Essentially, is there anything that you want to add to the load?
I think the big thing that I'm missing is just sort of rations, like either water. Yeah, probably water.
And you know that there was a like an ice melter on. It's not part of the skiff, but it is a unit that's been like stacked onto it. There were 2 collapsible shelters that were essentially one is too small for the 3 of you, so Bruno, Yellow Jacket, and Aurora. Therefore, you don't think the 2 are going to be enough for all 6 of you. But it sounds like Shan also has a tent. Does anyone else have access to a tent already?
I mean, I don't have one in my inventory, but I do imagine that because Shannon Winona go on these expeditions, that they do have that, like, Winona also has something
Okay.
that can be utilized as a tent. Also, like, probably a stock in the same way that Winona has like a collection of things. I feel like Winona has like a collection of like rations, like stuff that she has dried herself. Like essentially jerky.
So it sounds like from within the camp you can get enough shelter for the 6 of you, rations. Anything else?
A flashlight.
Yeah, you can get a light. Sure.
Can I have a first aid kit?
Yeah, so and like just remember, like if you're adding things that won't be onto your inventory, keep a separate list, because these are things that are going to be on the skiff. So it won't be like on your person to pull out. You'll have to go to the skiff to get it.
Can I have a backpack. Can I put some things in my backpack?
Yeah, I think backpacks give you like 10 slots.
Yes. Yep. So like I would like a flashlight and a first aid kit.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Stuff. Okay.
What kind of orienteering equipment exists? I don't.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll. Let's do. I'm gonna have you do a survival check, Cheyenne.
Okie.
Sorry, I'm just gonna say every time you say Shan, it's like a few syllables off of my like birth name that it freaks me out every time.
Sorry.
You're fine.
You're like, how do you know me?
Right?
It's like you weren't there. You should know.
You weren't there.
Or wasn't I?
I'm your secret uncle.
Oh no! I have to reevaluate things.
It's like Spaceballs,
right?
Sorry, what's that?
Luck points are just +1. Right?
Correct. For everyone you spend, you add 1.
I'm gonna use 4 luck points just in case. That I don't. Oh wait, no, that is good. So 13. I rolled an 11, so that's 24 plus
nice.
4, 28.
As you've spent time here at the Ekivar encampment, the Lovegood tribe, you have noticed that they do have various ways of like kind of keeping track of directions and everything, and you do know some people you can talk to essentially get them to lend you until you get back a set of gear that allow you to navigate better. So it'll be like a compass and these are like reliable tools instead of just kind of like old things that have been found. So go ahead and put navigation tools on your inventory. And if you don't have space in your inventory, you can add it to the skiff.
The skiff. Or move my tent to the skiff. Something.
Perfect. All right. Well, if everyone has gathered their stuff, Winona, you have let the tribe know that you are returning to the Great White Beyond to find the thing to prove yourself.
Can I get a vibe check to see if any of them like believe in me?
Yeah. Why don't you do a
Setting myself
observation
up for
check?
failure. Okay. Okay, so 14 plus 13, whatever that is.
27, yeah. So it's not just a thing that you've been like watching just now as you've been preparing. It's kind of like since you returned. Gotta be honest, you weren't out there for very long this morning looking for this thing that you need to prove yourself, and you've already come back. However, you did bring this group with you that there's talk going on amongst the other Ekavir here that sounds like you're not just like heading out on a quest to find something, but to prove something, like to change the outcome of a whole city, if not more cities. Excuse me. So even though there's a little bit of hesitancy as the day progressed, it has kind of built into this excitement, and people have been bringing you like little gifts, like little bits of food that they have taken from their own rations, and little like furs that you can add to your like what you're wearing to keep warm and stuff. It doesn't do a bunch as far as mechanically changing your ability to like your resilience checks, but it makes you feel warm in your heart.
I think Winona thanks them all very humbly in like a way that is very unlike how they appear in general to everybody else. Like, I feel like everyone would see Winona be like, oh my gosh, I don't know why my brain thought Jebediah, but Jebediah is a name now that exists in this place. Like, Jebediah, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Like, you don't have to. I know you need it for the kids. You sure? Okay, thank you. Like, stuff like that.
Nice. All right.
Final checks on anything like yellow, that like little knickknacks that are around.
Observation check.
All right. Okay, I'm not mad. 19 plus 11.
You have noticed little things here and there, mostly like game pieces or toys. You were really eyeing what Winona was being given along the way. There was actually no yellow items the entire time.
Bruno, a piece.
Bruno just fails to hold a straight face and sort of scoops up Yellow Jacket onto one of his shoulders.
Nice.
Let's go.
All right, so as Yellow Jacket leads the charge on top of Bruno's shoulders, you hear the whirring of the treads start to spin as the skiff follows you out, and you all exit this traveling village. Well, no, you have an idea. Excuse me, you have an idea of where your tribe will go from here. They probably won't be in this spot by the time you're done, but you have, barring
like, I know which way they
right,
will be going.
barring like catastrophic events, you know where they'll be. And you all head out. Bruno, can you do a survival check for me?
Let's see. And I'm going to use some of my luck points on this. Say 3 of my luck points.
I will say that. 3 of your luck points.
All right. That comes to 27.
Amazing. So let me verify. Were you waiting, or are you heading out on this? Like, were you waiting for morning, or did you just like head out late afternoon?
What do you think, folks?
I think
I
we
think-
got excited.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh no,
What
go
can
ahead,
leave
Kay.
at any point. So I think that if everyone else was excited to go, then we just went.
I think that's probably what we did.
Okay.
Okay, then yeah.
So the light of the day is pretty ambient gray. It just doesn't really seem to change, and you're keeping an eye on the horizon for any signs of movement. The storm that had been causing you issues as you struggled to get to the Ekavir encampment passed over, and now everything is pretty calm, and the frigid chill of the air doesn't bite through your clothing nearly as much without the wind pushing it. As you're heading in the direction that what has been explaining to you, you do start to notice signs of wildlife that you're pretty familiar with, creatures that you hunt for food, but then you start noticing signs of creatures that you technically can hunt for food as long as you are in a large enough group. Hunting them solo has often been a problem for those who go out to find fresh meat from the dome. It takes you a few times of seeing tracks to kind of confirm this, but it seems like there is a potential pack or group of Grodd. Grodd are pretty large creatures, rather bulky in body and maybe 2 to 3 times your size, and then with a large neck that ends in a rather chonky head with a large, powerful jaw. It doesn't seem like these Grodd are necessarily working together to hunt right now, but you keep passing over tracks that you're pretty sure are the same pack. Just something to be aware of.
Are they facing the way that we are going?
They actually are crossing, and it's been difficult for you to tell whether or not they're crossing. Like, essentially they're kind of moving in a zigzag, but were they heading in the way you're going, or were they heading where you came from? You're not sure.
Jeremy, should our frost clock be going?
Yes. Thank you.
No problem.
I feel like I would give you advantage if that was the thing, for being
All right.
honest about it.
That's all right.
Oh, look at that frost clock start ticking.
Hey,
Is there
You know
any immediate sense of danger from this? Or is it just a potential warning sign that we need to be keeping an eye out for?
Bruno, how do you feel about it?
Bruno usually hunts like in pairs, and I think in a pair he's pretty confident, that like his usual hunting partner, the two of them would be good against a single Grodd. We have half a dozen people in this party, so I think Bruno's feeling like cautious. But so long as, we're all confident, well fed, no one's bleeding or complaining too loud, Yellow Jacket, not making noises like a wounded animal.
All of the predators in the area are just like magnetically drawn.
I think he might like point it out. He might be like Grodd tracks, warm fur, big teeth. But I don't think that he would stop or seem sort of overly worried.
Wouldn't have this problem if we were going to mine. 3 days. 3 days versus 6. 6 days of walk is stupid.
Would you like to go by yourself?
Huh?
Would you like to go by yourself?
Yes. But Bruno's carrying me.
Thank you, Bruno, for your service. I know it must be a hard ass.
Bruno gives Winnow a little flex.
Winona's like, that's impressive. Like, Winona gives you a head nod, like, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Curious, could Casper not ride the skiff?
Probably could. I absolutely probably could.
Fascinating.
Yellow Jacket's gonna
Taking
lean
notes.
down to Bruno's ear so Winona can't hear.
She wouldn't make it in scab territory.
I think that elicits a probably a chuckle and a wink from Bruno.
I think in the same way that Yellow Jacket does that, I think Winona says to what it like as it writes this down is like, I think it's some sort of bonding ritual. Has a disgusted face. Like,
Yeah.
You do not approve of bonding rituals between those biologicals?
no, I think it's fine. I just don't get it. Why would you ride on someone's shoulders?
Better than walk.
Winona
Why
doesn't
not?
get it. There's just so much physical contact. I don't know where their shoulders have been. Maybe they do know where each other's shoulders have been. They seem like close friends. Maybe if you know where the other shoulders have been, then it's okay. But
It is still fascinating in any case. For now, though, I think we should be focusing on conserving energy, because Casper's aspersions to the difficulties arising from an extended journey such as this are valid
Casper?
in
Who's this Casper?
Yellow
First of all,
Jacket.
Casper
Sorry.
wouldn't be in this situation.
I
Casper does not
apologize.
like the cold.
Casper waited in the
You're reading
dome
the wrong
for
thing.
death.
Yellow Jacket's aspersions to the difficulties arising from a lengthened journey are not without merit in some fashion, in that biologicals such as yourself need to conserve energy more frequently, and so we should be cautious about our movements.
I
and
don't
expending too much energy.
I don't disagree, but doesn't it mean that Bruno's extending double the energy?
Yes, which is why I suggested that Yellow Jacket might be better served riding the skiff. But Bruno has full free choice available to them and can make such decisions for themselves.
Shan is very jealous and actually removes some extra stuff from the skiff to make it seem like they're carrying more stuff. And that's it.
Shannon's jealous
not like
no
on
one is
your
riding
back,
on their
just like-
shoulders?
Right? Just your third arm is flexing, holding
Yeah, exactly.
like a bunch
You
of stuff.
just told Bruno that he's hot as hell for carrying a ton of shit. A ton of shit being Yellow Jacket. So I'm gonna.
Wow.
No, that's actually a very apt.
Shots fired.
Right.
No, that's an apt.
It's not
description.
Yellow Jacket, but it's all of the stuff Yellow Jacket has pilfered along the way.
Yeah, you're carrying Yellow Jacket and their bags.
Right.
Like.
About 10 minutes into Shan carrying all of that extra things, What approaches them and says, curious, why are you carrying the additional supplies and not leaving it to the skiff?
I just I wanted to show I'm helping. It's
And
fine.
Shan, it's made worse because now that there's not as much weight on the skiff is moving faster, and so you're also having to walk just a little bit faster while carrying this stuff. And
To keep up. It's not good.
Your decisions might not be fully analyzed in what you have decided upon. I would
Can we-
recommend you replace the materials that you have collected to the skiff and conserve your energy.
It is a good idea. I'll think about this later, I'm sure.
Do you want what to ride on your shoulders? Will that make you feel better?
I would not do such a thing. That would be far too burdensome for any of you to partake upon.
But the visual is amazing. Got these like gigantic metal wings just like floating in the air on top of Shan's head. Anyway, so juggling back and forth between the skiff and shoulders, various objects and Yellow Jacket, the sun ends up going down. You don't see it, but there's a deepening to the gray of the sky, and soon everything is just the kind of ambient slight glow that the ice and snow gives off, the reflection of light that you can't really see coming from the sky, but it doesn't quite get dark. And you realize you should probably rest for the night. It's difficult for Bruno to really keep track of what's around. There might be threats. As you're setting up the shelters, everyone go ahead and make an observation check.
$14 for Bruno.
I have to get another D20 because I dropped mine on the floor and left.
13.
Okay.
27.
27.
I also got a 27.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
You said observation?
Yes.
18 plus 13.
All right. So what Winona and Yellow Jacket, as the tents are going up or the various shelter materials are being set up and everyone's kind of getting cozy for the evening, getting warmed up, I will stop our clock as you're getting into a shelter. However, you do hear in the distance roaring noises, rumbling noises. It's difficult to tell what you're pretty sure there's actually like kind of a canyon maybe 2 hours ahead of you. You're pretty sure it's coming from that direction.
Are the creatures that you mentioned earlier, would I have encountered them in the tunnels?
No.
Okay. Different teeth. Great. Love it.
There are always different teeth somewhere.
Does Winona know what this animal sounds like? Or if is it an animal at all? Or like, is it familiar?
Go ahead and do a recall.
Not good. 7 plus 12. 12.
19.
Yes, 19.
Okay.
So I feel like that what does not know what the noises connect to directly, but having traversed this pathway probably several times in their existence, and choosing almost every time to avoid any possible contact
Right.
with the creatures that would be making such noises. I feel like they might at least have a sense of understanding of the noises themselves and whether they are more plaintive or the growlings of menace and the like.
Yeah.
Does that seem valid?
Yes, and this seems Winona, you're not sure what they are. but I would say that what in Winona can tell that they seem less aggressive and more almost callback, like one happens and the other responds. In Yellow Jacket, you definitely hear that. It's very much like one's saying where it is and the other's responding. And you can hear them kind of making noises back and forth. Bruno and Shan, you're just like, you're into it. You were like putting up the tents, getting everything set up.
Is there a way that I can, or that I could makeshift a very like rudimentary defense trap? Like I'm talking like with sticks and snow and that, like very rudimentary and very quickly like put together kind of thing.
I feel like this is going to be a creativity check.
Am I creative? Casper is. Oh, hey. Not bad. Natural 20, baby, plus 12.
Nice. Yeah, you're able to like take, there was like some extra tent poles and stuff like that that are like really kind of like back up in case some break, and there's some other stuff that you take, and you essentially set up that if something were to walk into this, it would like spring up and kind of like maybe do some damage, but at the very least warn you that there's something outside.
I can sleep easy now.
Okay. Does everyone head off to bed? Any watches?
Just to make sure there's no like light out here, right?
Correct.
Okay. Then I think Winona would ask what if it needs to sleep.
Jeremy, I don't remember. When we discussed things earlier, I think we decided that what did not need sustenance, but does what need to power down?
There is this odd thing with your mind that you've noticed, even though like you're not biological, if you don't like power down, not all the way, it's not like turning off, but it's not quite like sleep either. It's this
It's a hallucination in the system.
kind of. And if you don't do it, your processing starts glitching a little bit. It's like needing to turn off your computer from time to time. Or the RAM is just like...
I think what would respond to Winona then with... I sleep. Sort of. I consider it to be more standby.
Okay, so you need rest. Fantastic.
Yes.
If you can wait until it starts to get a little light, you can wake me up and I can switch out with you. I have a scope on my rifle, so.
Very well.
Great. Good night.
All right. So as everyone heads off to bed, what, keeping an eye out to see if anything is approaching, the trap well laid and ready for whatever comes, what your watch passes uneventfully. You can hear these noises in the distance. After a couple of hours, they do end up stopping.
Then I will awaken Winona.
Okay. So Winona, when you wake up, there's this moment of disorientation. This is probably the first time you have slept outside of your tribe's like portable huts and such in maybe ever, if not like years. So there is this moment of like, where the heck am I? But you quickly like come to your senses. You look around. Everyone is sleeping fairly comfortably. You can see Yellow Jacket is like actually kind of laying on Bruno's head. It's this weird. You're not sure. You know that Yellow Jacket wasn't there when you all went to sleep, and you were pretty sure Yellow Jacket passed out like almost right away. So you don't know if they like slept walked over there and like laid down on Bruno, or if Bruno picked them up and put them there. You're not sure what happened. But hey, more notes.
This is very funny because in my brain, half of my brain is like, oh, it's like a cute like train leaning on head thing, and then the other half of my brain is fully on top of them like a hat.
Right.
Like on top of Bruno, where their waist is literally in the middle of Bruno's head. And they're just horizontal. Okay, so yeah, Winona is disoriented, switches plates with what probably asks like anything eventful, anything of concern.
No.
All right, well, sleep tight or whatever you're doing. And then I think Winona would set up their scope and just, make sure everything's okay out there.
Yeah.
It's not gross.
Go ahead and make an
strange.
observation check.
What? This is disrespectful. I knew this was happening. Cause what didn't have to roll?
Okay. We've got fan art going on.
That's what I was imagining. That
Right.
it's curled up like a little cat above your head.
I rolled a 9, but I have a plus 13, which I think gets me. Oh, is it 21 exactly?
22.
22. Perfect. Yes. Awesome.
Excellent. So you set up your scope, and as you do, you're kind of listening. You don't hear those howls or growls or whatever you would call that. And as you're kind of looking around very faintly the direction you came from, you can see a glow. As your eyes have adjusted, you realize it's probably the dome that you were nearing when you found Bruno and Aurora and Yellow Jacket. It's glow, just kind of spreading off into the night. It's about this time you realize your scope has just like the slightest tremor to it. And then it passes.
I don't like that, Jeremy. I don't like whatever you just said. Can I pause looking out of my scope and just kind of like, I want to just like put my gloved hands on the snow and just kind of put my ear like close to the ground and listen.
Yeah.
If I hear anything strange.
And I'll keep the success that you already had. You're not sure.
An elastic bulwark. Sorry.
You're not sure if it's your imagination, like if you're expecting something and so therefore you feel like you're hearing something, but like maybe in the distance you can hear just the slightest rumble and it fades away.
I don't like that. Winona's just going to kind of keep an eye out on that feeling just to see if at any point it grows louder / closer.
Yeah.
But that is now on the radar officially.
Yeah, so throughout the rest of the watch, you just, keep an eye out for it. You listen for it. Every so often you are watching your scope to see if it's shaking. You put your hand down and you don't feel it again for the rest of the night.
Great. Love that. Love that. Everything's fine.
Fine. I'm sure it'll be great. All right. And yours was essentially what took like the bulk of the watch. Is that right? And then Winona, and that was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So Winona, you notice your eyes are actually getting a little droopy as you're kind of like blinking, and you realize maybe the gray's starting to lighten slightly. And then in the distance, you realize there's a dark line. It's off to your left. There's a dark line on the horizon that you recognize as a storm. As you're watching it, you can tell it's getting closer, but it's also going more towards the Dome City than it is towards you. Kind of depending on how big it is and how fast you all move, you might be able to miss it if it's essentially moving diagonally, for lack of a better word. If it's going to, like, if you're going to catch any edge of it, it'll depend on how fast you go.
Great. Winona immediately packs up the rifle, puts it on her back, wakes up. Everybody rise and shine. Chop, chop. Come on, everyone up. Let's go. We gotta go immediately. There's a storm on the horizon, and unless you want to be die in a rush of cold, sleet, hail, and blizzard, which is a very painful way to go, from what I've heard, we should all leave immediately.
You know when this wouldn't be a problem? If we went to the closest one.
That's not true. That's not how storms work.
Shut
there
up.
could be storms anywhere, but okay.
You have never seen Bruno this serious.
I think that what will start taking care of the skiff
Okay.
and let everyone else pack their own personal things, since what has no personal things.
Okay.
You have never seen Winona move faster in her life. Like, she's like...
Yeah, but both of the Ekavir know what it is like on the surface with these storms. They are not to be fucked with.
All right. As our frost clock starts once again, the group begins to head towards this entrance. Again, that a couple hours at a good pace on a weatherless day, there's a canyon a couple hours from where you're starting off at. Who's going to lead? Last time I made an assumption for Bruno, but does anyone else want to lead and roll the survival check?
My survival is terrible. It should not be.
So you're saying Winona should roll?
I can do it.
Okay.
For what it's worth, what does technically know the way,
Mm-hmm.
but what does not have very good survival, and I think that is I think that's indicative of the fact that what doesn't care how long it takes them to get to their destinations. They know where their destinations are.
Fair.
And they are built to survive in these environments. And so if it takes them 5 days to get something that should only take 2, they're fine with that.
Fair.
I rolled a 9, but my survival is a 14.
Nice. So 23 total. As you are leading, and it's not so much only figuring out what direction to go, what is there to kind of provide that to an extent, but first of all, Yellow Jacket, are you walking or are you on Bruno's shoulder?
I'm gonna poke what and see if it will carry me or they will carry me.
What is
required to be carried?
Uppies.
What will pick them up and place them on the skiff?
Okay, let's go.
So is the skiff like in the front at this point? Is that how?
I think the skiff is kind of in the middle, and what is kind of guiding the skiff.
Okay. So Yellow Jacket standing on the skiff, you're keeping an eye out, and it's kind of a matter of figuring out which direction to go, but also like watching for tracks, watching that storm. Storm is getting closer. It is moving more towards the city than it is towards you, but you are going to catch part of it at some point during the day. And every so often, because there hasn't been wind, you notice these tracks that Bruno had found yesterday. These large paw tracks, their deep claws carving into the ice and snow. And it is pretty clear to you that there's at least 2 of these creatures, because some of the paw prints are much larger than the other ones.
Hey, Bruno. Family. teeth have family?
You got a weapon?
Bruno, from your knowledge about these creatures, Grodd are very... Sorry, I'm looking for the word here. They are strongly protective of their young. They're also aggressive predators. So if you have stumbled into where a family of Grodd are, they're likely to be more aggressive than if you had just like caught one off hunting.
Is there any reason to believe that we've stumbled into like a Grodd lair? I sort of thought we were doing a little more overland right now.
Yeah, you're not seeing a lair or anything, but if you catch a group of Grodd moving around with their young, it is more dangerous than one that's just out hunting. Does that make sense? Am I?
I think Winona would be like, hey, Bruno? Do you recall, how well Grodd fare in Severe Storm?
Better than us.
I was afraid you'd say that. Let's move faster, everyone. As fast as possible, please.
As the skiff whirs along, it's like digging through the snow. Oh, interesting. I'm letting my yes, no, maybe die make a lot of choices tonight. This one is... It's been a couple hours. You see in the distance, Yellow Jacket, a darkening in the horizon, like the ground itself, not in the sky like the storm over off to your left. There's probably a depression in the ice in the ground itself. Now, what did you tell them about the canyon?
I don't think so.
Okay. So Yellow Jacket, you see this depression. Make a survival check for me.
Okay.
I should say, not in advance anyway.
Fair.
Once we get close enough to have to navigate it, what will bring it up?
Hang on. 17 plus 14.
Nice. You've never seen a canyon like this, but you've like encountered underground drop-offs, like chasms and stuff. And you're like, oh, that's what it looks like when it's like on the surface. And so up ahead there is a drop-off. You're looking to your left and your right, trying to decide which way to go. If you go left, you will absolutely be hit by the storm. If you go to your right, it looks like the canyon might go off longer than it does to your left. Which direction do you want to aim for?
I think just how serious Bruno was with Yellow Jacket when telling him to pack up. They're just gonna go
That way.
right, the not in the way of the storm.
Okay. So as you kind of veer to essentially hit the shallower side of this canyon, or like head towards it so you can go around. Everyone watches as the storm isn't chasing you. It's not heading directly towards you, but it's definitely, you start feeling the breezes hit you. This starts biting through the layers of clothing that you have. What, like your wings, every so often the gust kind of like starts bending the pinions of it. And it's about this time that you hear, coming from the canyon, roars. These roars don't seem like the callbacks, the kind of location, but more aggressive, more territorial. They seem to be more directly in front of you. Or as you've turned, they would now kind of be to the left. They're in the canyon near you, but it seems like they're in the depression of the canyon. You can't see them.
I think given the contextual change of the sounds, what will be able to ascertain the imminent danger, even if he doesn't know the exact quantity of said danger, and will spur everyone. We should try to move faster if it's at all possible.
You do not have to tell me twice. Winona's gonna start running.
Winona just throws all of her stuff on the ground and just like books it.
Oh no, Winona has a backpack. I can run with my backpack on. Wait, Winona certainly can. She's stronger than me.
Remember, you don't have to run faster than the Grodd. You just have to run faster than your friend.
This is true.
All right, so everyone begins to book it.
I'm gonna be cautiously moving forward at a hurried pace.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to like run and.
I mean, are you staying on the skiff? Or are you getting off the skiff?
Wait, what can I knock off the skiff that doesn't belong to us that can make it go a little faster?
Make a quick observation check. It's going to be, because you are kind of like trying to do it in the heat of the moment, there will be a -4 penalty.
Do you think, well, just to clarify here, if Yellow Jacket even makes a notion of starting to do that, I think what would intervene,
Okay.
and simply try to use what's own power to cause the skiff to go faster.
Interesting.
What's very strong.
Like
So-
you want to pull it faster, or you want to like plug yourself into it to energize it to go
Whichever
faster?
way you want to handle that, I'm
You
fine.
tell me. I'm curious.
I think the initial is going to be just the physical exertion
Okay.
portion of things, because what is very strong.
Well, let's do
and
brute
so-
force.
Okay.
I got a natural 20 on my roll.
Okay. As you're looking, you do notice that what does like run up and essentially grab like the steering column and just begins dragging it faster. What did you get?
I got a total of 25.
Nice.
And if you would allow I think it's more what moves into the back of it and like the jets on his wings that allow him to slow fall and, collect power
Yeah.
and whatnot, go off. And, that allows him to start pushing it faster.
Interesting. I like it. I am going to have you do a resilience check.
Me?
Yeah.
Sure. I have a plus 16 to that. Total of 30.
Perfect. You're not really used to using your energy reserves this way, but as you begin to like burn through and speed this thing up, you find it an equilibrium pretty quickly, and you're able to kind of speed up the skiff. So Yellow Jacket, you're like ready to start throwing things off, and all of a sudden you're just like, yeah, The skiff starts going faster than everyone else. Winona, you're booking it after it. Shan and Bruno, what are you up to?
Trying to keep up.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the name of the game. Let me check my inventory real quick. Nothing I can dump. Yeah, I guess it's just skedaddling.
Okay. As you're,
Oh, go ahead.
I was say as you're running, your feet crunching in the snow, you can hear the winds starting to pick up, but you can hear these roars, these terrible noises kind of being echoed through the canyon to your left, and you hear what sounds like a roar of pain, almost like a higher pitched, and then this just resounding roar. Yellow Jacket, in your gut, it sounds like a victory roar, like when, like in those fighting rings, when like a fighter would win and they're just like, "Raw!" and things quiet down. You can hear the sound of the wind behind you.
Quick question. Is there any rumbling involved in here?
Oh, like the ground rumbling?
Yeah.
Make an observation check.
Oh, I knew I should have asked earlier. I don't think I made it. 7 plus 13. I think I'm just under.
Okay. You don't notice any.
Okay, perfect. And you have to call luck points before, right? Okay. Is what it is. Okay, cool. Everything's fine. I mean, not fine, but fine.
As you're nearing the shallow, you've managed to like get away from the noises. Excuse me, the noises that were coming out of the canyon. Every so often you hear like a grumbling noise, more of the callback like you heard before. Until you get near where you can see this canyon's like shallow point kind of empties out onto the plain, like it's risen up to your level. And you can see furs, something in the snow up there.
Can I mimic the victory call of the creatures that I heard?
Let's call it a presence roll.
Yeah, let's go. Let's call it whatever you want.
You could do performance if you would prefer.
Let me double check and see. Do I have a better presence or performance? Oh, we're going performance. Please performance? Oh, okay. Not bad. Okay. I had to find my tab. So 19 plus 15.
Nice. All right, so with a 34, the group actually kind of like jumps for a moment because there's this roar that just bursts out like right next to them, and everyone sees Yellow Jacket just like standing on this skiff, like putting their whole abdomen into this roar, like bending themselves in half to emit this noise that just like echoes out across the plain ahead of you. What do you do?
Going.
Okay.
I think unless someone or something tells what to stop, what isn't stopping?
Did that do anything?
The furs didn't move.
The fur? Wait,
Yeah. So the fur that
Okay.
you can see kind of like bundled at the exit of this canyon. That
Oh,
yellow.
wait. I have a rifle. Can I just look through the scope of my rifle? Can I just like take it off my back real quick?
Sure.
And like, I think Winona's gonna slow down. I think Winona was like,
That was my question,
not ahead
yeah.
of what, but definitely was like, ahead of like I think Shan and Bruno because she started running first. So I think she'll
Right.
like slow down to almost like bridge the gap and look through the rifle scope to see like, hey, what exactly is this? What is this thing?
Sure. As you... Actually, I'm going to have you do an observation check. There is no
That's fair.
there is no penalty to this one because you did stop. You're not running and trying to do it.
17 plus 13.
Nice. You glance through. The first thing you notice are the furs. There are like these light brown furs that are kind of sticking up to the snow, and you can see claws sticking up every so often, maybe like bits of appendages that make you feel like they're legs, or very thick arms that end in clawed paws. And it's about that time that you're kind of like like you're moving your scope around, you're trying to like get everything. You see movement, and there appears to be a very large, I'm going to say bear-like for you, but Winona doesn't actually know what a bear is. A bear-like creature that has like an elongated neck, and its head is kind of like much larger than a bear's with enormous jaws. It is dragging another creature just like it, but smaller, out to this pile. And it like is staring at you all. It has stopped moving and is watching the group move past.
This isn't the family of well, I don't even remember what they're called, but it's not that, is it?
You don't think that the one that it's dragging is small enough to be like a young Grodd? It's just not as big as this other one. Like you quick do a like looking through your scope, just kind of calculating. All of the bodies are adult sized, you're guessing, and this thing is almost twice their size.
Are they both Grods? Like, do I know
Yes.
if they're both Grods? Okay. Winona is like slowing down. She doesn't stop because she does not want to get left behind, but she's gonna be like, Bruno, have you ever seen a Grod?
I'm sorry, I have to pause you there. And everyone
Frostpoint
needs to go ahead and make a resilience check.
What do we? Oh wait, resilience. Okay, 10. Okay.
24.
Nice.
That is a
What?
14. So we're gonna drop that down to 7.
Have my frost points reset, or
You had rested enough to get one. Actually, no. So because of your rest last night, everyone's has reset. Correct.
Okay, perfect.
Natural 20 plus
Nice.
an 11.
That's 3. Come on, Yellow Jacket.
Sorry, it's Monday, so nat 20s don't count.
LOL.
That'd
That'd be every session.
So Brie got a 14.
Yeah, I got a 14. So I lost the Frostpoint.
What did what get?
What got a 24?
Okay, Shan
19 total.
lost a frost point.
Yeah.
Bruno.
14 down a frost point.
Whew. All right, so as you're running, you're sweating, and it's like just enough that it's beginning to affect you. It's a little hard to breathe. The cold air is like biting into not just your skin that gets exposed, but like it burns going down. Please continue.
So Winona's voice is shaking, and it's not clear if it's because it's cold or if it's because of fear or if it's because of both. Winona's like, Bruno, what are the odds that a grot Grot?
Grod.
Right. Grod. A Grod would kill a bunch of other Grods. Adult Grods. More than one Grod. How many were in that pile, Jeremy?
It was really like it's snow covered, so it's difficult to tell. It may have just been 2, but then a third one's being drug out. You're not really sure.
What does it mean when a Grod kills at least 3 other Grods?
Have I ever seen anything like this before?
You have not. Are you stopping to look, Bruno, or did you keep looking it?
I would give Bruno my rifle I would give Bruno my rifle to look through the scope.
Yeah, Bruno would stop for a moment and look just so I can see what Winona is talking about.
So
Winona would hand it to you.
As you glance through the scope, you look and the pile of Grods and the Grod that's being drug are normal size Grods, the ones that you would expect to find out here. Whatever that thing is very Grod shaped, but it is freaking enormous.
King Grod?
A King Grod that kills its subjects for fun?
Plenty bad kings.
Well, if it would kill its
Let's
own
go.
subject, what will it do to
Yeah, is this conversation happening in proximity to what being able to hear it?
We are talking out loud, or at least Winona is. I don't know about Bruno.
My question is, did what stop the skiff?
No.
Okay, yeah, then no, not at all.
Sorry.
You have continued pushing past.
Great.
Wait. So question. We are running at this point towards these Grods.
You're running parallel to the canyon, so you're gonna if you keep going in the direction that you're heading,
We will get closer to them, but they will still be inside of the canyon.
essentially you're not gonna get any closer unless you turn to your left. Then you'll start veering towards them. You know that you do need to go that direction at some point to head towards this elevator, but you could probably go for a while and go around this canyon completely, or you could stop and see what's going on over there.
I don't want to see what's going on, but my question is that are they directly to the the left of us, in the canyon, or are they further down and we're walking parallel where I know we won't cross paths yet, but are we getting closer to them parallel?
Yeah, so unless you veer off right now, you're not getting any closer to them.
Okay.
In fact, if you continue going, you're going to start getting further away from them.
Okay. Then yeah, keep running. We're just gonna run fast.
Okay.
Just keep going. It is looking at us, so Winona is going to take the rifle back from Bruno and just kind of have it at the ready if needed. But Winona is running faster. Winona is encouraging everybody else to run faster.
Okay. Yeah, as you Shen, let me just check because I didn't check in with you. Did you keep running or did you stop to be
Winona did not call me, so I was assuming she did not need me. So
Fair.
I continued running after everyone else. So
okay.
I guess just after Yellow Jacket and Aurora, I suppose.
Yeah, Aurora stops and is maybe there's an answer over here, and starts heading towards the Grod.
Winona grabs Winona's hand, grabs Shan's hand, when she starts asking them, run faster.
So essentially at this point, Winona and Bruno, you are not being left behind by the group. There's just a few moments where you've stopped to look at this, figure out what you've seen, and then you start running. But in that time, you do notice the enormous Grod heave this other Grod, which is, twice the size of Bruno, onto this snowy pile of corpses. and then it looks at you, Winona, and just roars, and you can see the snow in front of it just get speckled with red from like the gore that it was like from carrying the Sethergrod. Just roars at you, but doesn't move, like doesn't charge after
At
you.
me specifically?
You're closest.
We gotta go. Everybody go. What's already got the right idea? I should have listened to what and just not stopped for any reason.
Thanks for the puppetry. Let me.
You might get the sense that if what has traveled with biological creatures in the past, the reason that they don't travel with those creatures now is because they didn't listen to what?
Stop and stare. Meanwhile, what it's like.
Awesome. Unbeknownst to the group, but beknownst to the players, Casper, your character's roar of intimidation
Yes.
kept this grot from charging after you. That was amazing.
And nobody knows that Yellow
Right.
Jacket saved them.
That was awesome.
Whatever.
I feel like Bruno knows. I feel like Bruno clocked it.
But
Bruno
Bruno
is
won't tell me.
incredibly proud of Yellow
Right.
Jacket.
Bruno won't tell me. That's fine.
Quick shout out to Cozy Bean. Thanks for rating. Good to see everybody. All right, so as you head off into the plains, who's leading?
It has to be what, right?
You don't want what to lead.
Oh,
I mean,
never mind.
what is actually pushing the thing? So you're kind of directing them where to go, but like as far as tracking things like the weather and the tracks and all that, who's keeping an eye out for danger?
What is the cartographer? He is not the way, or they are not the wayfinder.
That's fair. If it's danger, Winona could do it. If it's survival, Winona could not.
Okay, so
I can stay in this. I think the skiff is moving too fast for Yellow Jacket to hop off anyway.
I'm assuming at this point we have reached a stage where we have slowed down and are not exerting ourselves.
yeah, as you've left the canyon behind visually, and you haven't heard any sounds coming out of it as far as that thing chasing you. Every so often you do hear roars, but it's not that one's roar. Again, it's like further down in there. You feel like you have bypassed the danger.
Okay.
So do you want to do the survival Yellow Jacket?
Yeah. Fine.
I mean, you don't have to.
No, I will. Because I said I would. And my dice have been... I spoke too soon. I shouldn't have started that sentence. Because that's a 2 on the dice, and my survival is 14, so we got a solid 16.
Nice. What's interesting?
End up at the event.
What's that?
We end up at the event
Right.
instead of.
This whole time, Yellow Jacket has been leading us to
The 3-day event one? It
the
was the one that
3-day
was closer?
event, and what just hasn't corrected them because no one has asked what if
Right.
they're going the right way.
Please, can that be a thing?
I feel like you would need to do a check.
That's fine. I'll do it. Okay, hang on. Let me see how. Okay, changing my dice now. See what this. Wait, what check am I doing? First of all,
It's going to be a trickery, and then anyone who has observation.
Because I think we would all have to roll, right? Because we would have all had to notice that.
Like, there are definitely
I'm just
signs.
got that, buddy.
The biggest sign isn't necessarily going to be obvious right away, but go ahead and roll observation checks.
I'm gonna roll.
I'm just gonna let you know. I rolled a natural
Nat 20,
again.
baby.
Nat 20 on me too, babe.
Oh,
So
snap.
now we got to
What's
figure
your
out
trickery?
who's higher.
What's your trickery?
What's your trickery?
No, wait. I'm doing observation.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, what's it?
Mine
What's
is
your
13.
Yeah, but that's what I asked.
You beat me by 1. I'm
Oh. So Winona, it's
Oh my gosh.
it's not right away, but it's pretty shortly after Yellow Jacket starts like veering the skiff back in the direction you came from to try and like kind of like veer around and go, that you're like, no, this isn't the right way.
I'm think Winona's gonna take up like a piece of paper that she takes for like, writing or whatever, fold it up like a newspaper, and just gonna swat Yellow Jacket. Be like, no, stop it. This is not the right way. Stop doing that. What, is this the right way?
Can I no? The first time you swap me, I'm grabbing that, and if it's not yellow, I'm shredding it.
It was a blank piece of paper. It's fine. But Winona is offended.
And I rolled yes, no, maybe. It is absolutely not even yellow tinged at all. In fact, it's a little blue.
It's not even yellow. Blue is the worst.
I'm offended that you're touching me with not my color.
And I think Winona would be like, what? Is this the right direction? Oh, cats. Exactly. I'm watching you.
Then you lead.
Fine, I will. No one is gonna like this. What? Roll.
No one is going to like this. So you're a little off course now, but you have an idea of, and like what knows the direction. So go ahead and roll an survival, Winona.
Luck? Do you have any luck left?
You know what? Let's put all 3 of those bad boys in here, because we're gonna need it. Ooh, no! I almost dropped. Okay, I literally dropped it. Ooh, no. That's a 4 plus a 6 plus a 3, which is nothing. Math? Yeah, that's nothing.
So what you've like helped Winona direct the skiff back the direction it's supposed to, and you are all heading in that direction. As the day starts to get rapidly darker and you begin losing light, you're not really sure how you lost so much time that it's already starting to become nighttime. At which point you kind of stop and you look back and you're like, oh. And the wind hits you and the ice starts to bite through. And the storm has caught up with you. And I feel like, one, with a little bit of overage that I missed from the earlier frost clock, and the fact that we're ending right now, I want you all to do a resilience check as we end this episode.
25.
Nice.
15. I don't think I've passed a single
you
resilience
haven't.
check since we started.
I don't think you've ever passed a resilience check.
You know what's so funny? I also got a 15. I rolled a 5, and I have a plus 10.
Oh, man.
So,
Like, I got a
Two
big
Ekavir in
old
the
pool
same
as
boat.
an Ekavir, but I just get chilly, I guess.
Apparently.
I got a 21.
Okay, you made it.
I got a
And-
19, so I failed all mine as well.
Is it luck check or luck points that you get back?
yeah, you get a luck point back.
Yeah.
use one
If
yellow
you
card.
roll exactly a 21, you get 1 spent luck point back.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I haven't spent any of mine.
Oh,
I'm naturally lucky, baby.
that's right. Shan, did you pass?
Shan got a
I got 19. I've also failed every single frost check so
Like-
far.
Today, Winona, Shan, and Bruno have all failed these checks. So the three of you lose a frost point, and we will pick up at that point as the storm overtakes you next week.
Sorry, y'all.
Yay.
Apologies.
Yeah, because you didn't want to go to the closer one. All right.
No.
I love it. All right, so thank you so much for joining us tonight. Muchly appreciated. First off, we are playing Arrhenius, a ice core futuristic game set 100,000 years in the future. It is now available on itch.io and on DriveThruRPG, both as PDF and as a hardcover print on demand. Head over to the links in chat to find out more about that. Thanks so much to Dungeon Teller for one, kind of preempting the release, sending us the information on the game and letting us do this. It's been a ton of fun. I think I'm having a blast, and therefore everyone else is having fun, whether they want to or not. And let's do a round of introductions. Let's start with Miko. What was the last cat you had on screen? And then tell us about yourself.
That was Yoshi.
Then tell us
that
about
was the
yourself, I
adorable-
guess.
That was the adorable Yoshi. Hi everyone, I am Miko, otherwise known as the OKSGM. You can find me most of the time haunting the halls over at Folk and Myth, where we run all kinds of fun games. The next game that we have scheduled over at Folk and Myth is actually on Wednesday, my own Dungeons & Dragons homebrew world of Ystera, campaign known as the Far Horizon. Kay is in that. It's amazing. You guys should tune in. We kick off at 8 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday, except the last Wednesdays of each month, which we take a little break for. But we are back at it this week with Kay. I believe your character was warned off by someone psychotic to not get involved in the situation that you guys are currently involved in. So
Yeah. And I'll ignore it.
like the good player that you are. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. Really enjoying this. Really enjoying getting to play what. It's a lot of fun.
Arrhenius.
And
we're playing Arrhenius.
Yes, I know. And I'm going
to... I'm going to beat it to death.
I'm going to bebop all the way over to Casper for the next outro.
OCO, everybody. I've been Casper, the MB Ghost. I show up late, cause some chaos, and then, leave. I haunt whatever channel lets me. You can find me everywhere as Casper, DANB Ghost, all one word. Yeah, I'm on a few different things. I'm playing a game with everybody. Yeah, follow my socials for all of the game mentions because I honestly do not remember. But yeah, I'm gonna popcorn it over to my bestie buddy Ed.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Ed. I've played Bruno this evening. I'm just having a great time exploring Arrhenius and especially playing with y'all here on Wanderer's Haven. You guys are just the best, and I'm having a lovely time. Looking forward to the next one. Let me shoot it over to Brie.
Hi, it's me. I'm Brie. You could find me at most places, either as brennanicki, or you could figure out and follow what I'm doing on my website, bizzy-brie.love. And when I'm not in any of those places, I'm in your walls, I'm in your shower, I'm in your home, just taking all of your stuff and raiding your fridge.
That's what that noise is.
And yeah, it's me. Hi. Anyways, I had a great time playing. I love this table. It's very fun, especially since I'm playing with a lot of y'all for the very first time. So appreciate y'all having me here. And yeah, and last but certainly not least, Shan. Or Kay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Hi, I'm Kay. I do Far Horizon on Folk and Myth. I'm planning to do a Thirsty Sword Lesbians with Wanderer's Haven again soon. And yeah, just some local stuff other than that. But thanks for having me, and I can't wait to take a nap and see you next time.
I can't wait to take a nap. That's like the best outro right there. That's how I feel. Awesome. Hey, I'm Jeremy. You can find me on socials at social media. Speaking of needing to take a nap, at WH Pubs. This is Mental Health Awareness Month, and then we have some awesome games set up for that. It kicked off on Saturday with a one-shot of Rhine by Furtive Shambles. That was a fantastic game, so much fun, and they got $5 shy of making it a quarter of the way through our $500 goal for the month. Super excited to see us just blast through the rest of it as we have more games. If you want to know more about what's coming up, head over to our calendar. The link is now in chat. What else? Oh, I should probably say over on Imagine If Media this Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we are playing some sagas with a Star Wars theme. Casper's going to be in that with myself. I'm super excited for. We had session 0 right before this, and I'm really stoked for the amount of fun that it is going to be. And then Friday, Ed, you're back, aren't you? For some Tales of the Valiant.
Oh my goodness, that's been coming up so far.
Right?
I forgot that that's actually happening.
We
but
planned to do this one shot like 5 months ago.
We did.
And then it got pushed back, and I'm like, let's just do a fundraiser with it. So this Friday at 8 p.m., I believe. It is.
What a wealth of nerdy fun.
Yeah, we're going to do some Tales of the Valiant by Cobalt Press. It's going to be a ton of fun. Tune in, and if you can, donate for the mental health awareness cause. We're going to rate over to No Man, I think. No Man. 2 words with an underscore. So thanks for joining us, everybody. We will see you next time. Remember, if you can, head over to YouTube. Give us a follow over there as well. It's always appreciated. When you get to Gnome Ann's page or stream, say hi. And everyone have a fantastic evening. See you next time. Bye.